the forces applied by us is not equal, that is what the resultant forces are not equals to 0, then we can say the forces are called as what, guys? Unbalanced forces. Okay. Now, for example, you can see. Now, I will give you a big car. I will give you one big car, real car, and I will ask you to push it. Now, is it possible to push it by one person? Is it possible to push it by one person?
No.
Now, in this case, the force of push is this direction, and here opposite direction who will be there? Frictional force. Understanding. Now, the mass of the car is, that is what weight is in gravity, downward direction, and earth is exerting force, that is what force of action in opposite direction. So in this case, what are the forces? No displacement in car. That is what we used to say. What is that? Balanced forces. Yes or no, guys? Yes or no? Please respond. Now, this is a real car. Now I will give you Danishkar to move the toy car. Now you tell me, toy car, Danishkar, you can able to move the toy car or not? Yes, please. Suppose I have given you one toy car. Okay. Now, toy car is also exerting 4 forces. But how we can move? Anybody can tell me? For example, this is the toy car. Now you can see Danishkar is applying the force on this one. So this is what push, a force of push. Now, in this case, you can observe that car is started moving, but still some force is acting opposite direction. What is that force? What is that force?
Frictional force.
Force of friction, understanding, or frictional force. But the force applied by the Danishka is more than frictional force or less than frictional force?
More than
Frictional force. Now, for example, frictional force is 10 newtons. Danishkar is applying 50 newtons. So the applied force is greater than the frictional force, so that the body is moving. Yes or no, guys? Yes or no, guys? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Same way, in this case, toy car is also having weight. That toy car will exert what force? Downwards. What is that force? That is what?
Gravity.
The earth will also will exert some force. That is what? Force of reaction. Understand? Still you can see Danishkar force and force of friction is not balanced, but reaction and gravity both are what? Equal and opposite, so that they'll be neglected. But how the car is moving here? Anybody can tell me? Because Danishkar is applying more force than what? More force than what, guys? More force than frictional force, then only the body can move. So from this we can make conclusion. You can notice it here. The resultant force is what? Resultant force is what? Resultant force is not 0. Do you understand, everyone? Resultant force is not 0. Then we can see that the body which is moving, the body which is in stationary, can we able to move the body or not?
Yes, sir.
Please respond. We can able to move the body. Now, for example, I am trying to, the car is already in motion. I am trying to bring it back to rest. Then you can tell me applied force is greater than or not, greater or less. In this case also greater. By the time which force? Frictional force is greater. Do you understand? So when I apply the brakes, what is that acceleration? Acceleration or deacceleration? First chapter we studied.
Deacceleration.
Deacceleration. Do you understand? So deacceleration, that is what we used to say. What is another name of deacceleration?
Retardation.
Decrease.
Retardation. Do you understand? So retardation. So retardation means what is that force? Backward force. Understand? So the backward force means frictional force is increases, then body will comes to what? Then the moving body will comes to what? Moving body will comes to what, guys? It will comes to rest. That is what. So if you want to move the body which is in state of rest, then applied force is greater. Then if you want to bring the body, moving body to the rest, then the frictional force or retardation force must be greater than the moving body. Do you understand, everyone? So in these cases, if you want to move the body, then is it a balanced or unbalanced forces, Mitakshri? Balanced or unbalanced forces? It is unbalanced forces, so that a body can move or a body can bring back to rest. That is what you have to remember. So that is what the name of unbalanced forces. So all of you should write. What do you mean by unbalanced forces, guys? The resultant force is not zero. Then that forces we used to call as what? Unbalanced forces. So they'll ask in question in exam, which type of forces causes motion in your body? Which kind of forces? Anyone? Balanced?
Unbalanced force.
What? Unbalanced.
Unbalanced.
Okay, that is what. So please write definition. Unbalanced forces. If the resultant of all the forces, if the resultant of all the forces acting on a body is not zero, comma, the forces are called, what we used to call, Danishka? The forces are called unbalanced forces. Okay. So now Arun Kailash will say, Arun Kailash, with the help of unbalanced forces, we can do the two changes in the body. What is the two changes? Anyone, please? At least try to open your mouth, guys. With the help of unbalanced forces, we can do the two changes in the body. What is the two changes I am asking, guys?
Sir, we can move the stationary object and we can make the stationary object to stop, sir.
Stationary object, not moving object. Okay, Hari?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that is what. Are you clear, everyone? So we can change the stationary object to motion and the motion moving body to the rest with the help of which forces? Mitakshri, Vartini, with the help of
Unbalanced force.
unbalanced forces only. So the example you can say what? A toy car. Okay, moving a toy car on the ground. Moving a toy car on the ground. So if you want to move the object on this earth, then always the applied force is greater than frictional force or less than frictional force. Anybody? If you want to move the body, then always what, guys? The applied force is greater. Do you understand? So that is what you have to remember. The applied force is greater than the force, greater than the frictional force. Everybody should remember that. Make it fast now. Yes, please. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. So that is the thing, everyone. So from that we can say one statement. What is that? Right. Unbalanced forces can move a. Unbalanced forces can move a. Unbalanced forces can move a. Unbalanced forces can move a stationary body. Stationary body, or they can stop a moving body, Is it okay, guys? Or they can stop a moving body. Yes or no? Yes. Now, for example, now you see the force which we are applying in our daily life, everything is unbalanced or balanced forces. Everyone,
Unbalanced.
unbalanced forces only. For example, how many of you know bicycle here? All of you? Do you all people know bicycle riding? Yes, please.
Yes.
Respond. Now, when you are cycling, suddenly you stop pedaling. Is it your bicycle is keep on moving, or after traveling certain distance, even though not applying brakes, your body is coming to rest? Is it yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
How it is happening? Because why? Why it is coming to rest? Because of two
Which
kinds
is
of
greater than
forces.
our force.
Yes, slowly the applied forces keep on decreases. When you stop pedaling, what will happen, Hari? Applied forces decreases. So slowly, which forces increases? Frictional forces increase. And also we are traveling in which medium? Air. So air is also will exert force or not? Yes, please respond. Yes. So that is what. So due to that only, suppose you can see Harish will hit the ball. Now is it the ball is keep on moving, Arun Kailash, or else it will come to rest? Anybody? Even though nobody is stopping, it will come to rest or not? Mitakshri? Why it will come to rest? So now you can see here, tugs of war. So this tugs of war, these people fall down this side. Means in the sense of what? Balanced or unbalanced forces? Anyone?
Unbalanced force, sir.
That is what. So now in this case, this team will release the forces or they increase the forces. Why they are falling backward direction? So that this team is suddenly release the rope or they push it towards to them. Anyone?
So they release the rope, sir.
Yes, please. They released the rope. So that is why these people are falling backward so that it is become unbalanced or balanced forces. Unbalanced forces. Okay. Now, for example, these fellows will exert more force and they'll push this side. Then this all the persons will fall which direction? They'll fall into the forward direction. Yes or no, guys? Please respond. Now they are falling backward direction because these persons released the rope so that they are falling in the backward direction. If they exerted more force, then this all the persons will fall which direction? Will fall in the forward direction because the force applied force is greater than that by this time. So this is what unbalanced forces will cause us move the rope in any one direction. So that is what we can say unbalanced forces only will create what? Motion in a moving body. Now here one person, one lady is cycling. So what you people are noticing here? Anybody can tell me? This lady is cycling. So here you are seeing that blurred surface. What is this blurred surface? Anyone? What is that? She stopped pedaling. What is that, guys? Air. Understanding? Air is applying the friction. So when we stop pedaling, then as we know what, when we are keep on moving, our bicycle will slowly come to rest. Why? Because when applied force is decreases, then some backward force is increases. What is that force? Slowly. What is that force, guys? Frictional forces keep on increases between road and bicycle tires. And same way, one more force. What is that? Air. Understanding? Air is trying to act opposite to the direction of bicycle so that slowly the bicycle will come rest. For example, no air is existed or no frictional force is existed, then the forces is always balanced. Then what will happen, guys? The bicycle would go on moving forever without stopping. Yes or no, guys? If no frictional force, no air friction or no frictional force, then the bicycle would move on, keep on moving. Is it yes or no, guys? Yes, please
Yes,
respond.
Yes, sir.
Keep on moving. That is what will happen. Are you clear, everybody? So that is what. If there is no air resistance, then the bicycle will move, keep on, or anything object will keep on moving like a balanced forces. That is what uniform motion. So everything you can take in our body, every action in our daily life, it is a balanced or unbalanced forces. Balanced and
Unbalanced.
unbalanced forces. So that is what you have to remember. So if there were no unbalanced forces, then no object will keep on, no object will come to rest. The object which is in state of uniform motion remains in uniform motion. The object which is in state of rest remains in what, Hari? Remains in state of rest only. Understand? So that is what you have to remember. So this is what we used to call as unbalanced forces. So if you want to move an object, or else if you want to bring the body into rest, which forces needed? Balanced or unbalanced forces? Everyone? We need
unbalanced force.
unbalanced forces only. But actually, I am trying to move the object. I am saying that force is applied. Which force is applied? Balanced or unbalanced forces? Balanced or unbalanced forces? I am trying to move the object. So I'm applying, I'm saying that I applied the force so that body is moving. So that what force I applied? Balanced or unbalanced force? Which force? I applied the force so that
Unbalanced
object is moving. Understand? So you can see chapter 1 onwards, let's study. Force is applied so that body is moving or else body is coming to rest. So force is applied means what force I'm applying actually? Balanced or unbalanced force? Mitakshri? I'm applying what force? Unbalanced force. Understand? But for our convenience, every time writing unbalanced force is difficult. That is why for our convenience, unbalanced force simply we can call it as what? We can call it as a force only. So whenever I am saying that force is applied on a body, so means you have to understand which force is applied, guys. Which force is applied?
Unbalanced force.
Unbalanced force. So that is what you have to remember. So that is why we will use only the term force in writing the definitions of the next concept called as Newton's laws of motion. But whenever I am using unbalanced force, like force means in the sense of it is what, guys? It is the unbalanced force. Do you understand? So no need to confuse in that. For example, you are designed to write unbalanced force. You can write it. It's nothing wrong. Is it okay, Hari? Ready, everybody? So wherever
Yes.
I am writing balance, say anyhow balanced forces, we don't have any use. Because why? Balanced forces cannot give motion or cannot bring the body into state of what? Rest. Okay. So it is not possible to, there is no use of any balanced forces. Only we are having use of what forces, guys? Unbalanced forces only. So that is what you have to remember it. So this is all about unbalanced forces. In the next class, we will study the next concept. This is what, are you clear, guys? Balanced and unbalanced forces. Any doubt? Please respond.
No, sir.
Now, if you'll have understand this, then next class we are going to study one experiment. That is what we can say Galileo experiment. So once you studied the Galileo experiment, then we will go to that is what we can say the first law of motion. So after that, we will enter into the next laws. That is what Newton's laws of motions. Okay, guys? Clear, everybody? So second laws of motion and all we'll study in the next class. Thank you, all of you. Bye. We'll meet in the tomorrow's class.
Thank you.